Hey everybody, we're back with part two of the Noble Records exclusives. Oh my. Yeah, here is batch for part two. Let's get to it. Hey everybody, it's a snowman with too loud, too old music.com. Welcome back to part two of our Noble Records exclusives. As we saw in part one, we went through about 25 of them, and I think I have another 25 or so for this week as well. Noble Records, if you don't remember, is my local record store, and Dylan puts out exclusives every month, almost every month. Sometimes there's two in a month or three in a month. Very rarely there's three, but sometimes there's none. It all depends on when they show up. And I've been buying them for about 2 years, and I've collected all of them, except for variants, which we discussed in the first one. So we're going to pick up here with the last half. And what's going to be a nice thing about this one is Noble Records also has a record label, and he's been signing his own bands. So we're going to have a few of those at the end of his first batch of his own labels releases, which is really cool. All right, let's get started. So the first one we have here is a band called Cold Sun, and the album is Dark Shadows. And it looks pretty heavy. It looks pretty wild. Great color. Kind of, I don't know. Can't tell if it's green or if it's blue or if I'm colorblind, but it's gonna match. It kind of matches the color on the front. The album came out. Well, the album was recorded in 1970, but it was never released. And the description on this thing is great. Peyote-induced psychedelia rock out of Texas. I mean, if that doesn't grab you and bring you in, what will? It's a mixture of kind of like the Elevators and Velvet Underground, but they have their own style and stuff. So it's really interesting stuff, very different from stuff I normally listen to. So I haven't had enough time with it, but yeah, it's kind of cool. That's, yeah, from what I've heard so far. All right, next is one of my favorites that he's put out. I have a lot of those in this round, but this one is Back Jack. Um, Come on and boogie with Back Jack, and that you will. Pretty little orangish, orange, red. We'll go with orange to max the orange color on the front. It's technically, it's not really a reissue because again, this album was never released either. Um, they had only released a 45 single back in the day, so they've collected a bunch of the songs from recordings that were found between 1970 and 1975. And Writing Easy Records has compiled this list. Most of the tracks I think were 1974 to 75 that ended up on here. There's 8 tracks on the vinyl. The streaming has 13. So the vinyl to me are the best songs. The band was out of Missouri, heavy rock band with some psych elements. There was a person over on Rate Your Music, a writer in the storm, I think is who it was, described them as the music is like Blue Oyster Cult and Leonard Skinner had a child, and that child was raised by Grand Funk and Led Zeppelin with Uncle Poobah named Back Jack, and that's the name of it. I think that pretty much sums it up. So it's kind of a mixture of all of those things. Really killer. I did write a review on this one on the website at too loud, too old music.com. So go check that out and see what I have to say in detail about every songs because it's a fantastic album. This next one, all right, is called Parchment Farm, and it looks very heavy metalish just from that front cover. Um, Here we have another orange looking cover. It's from Riding Easy Records. They do a great job with theirs. Um, it's a band out of Missouri. Um, they kind of, I'm trying to think. They They played a lot of clubs and stuff. They got some heavy original songs and stuff. Um, the name came from some misspelling of Parchman Farm, which is a state penitentiary. It's a song from Blue Cheers, but the music's kind of heavy, kind of doomy. It's very dark. I was listening to it actually earlier while I was prepping everything for this. It's really good. It's good stuff. Haven't reviewed it yet. Need to spend more time with a lot of these, and that's one of them. But yeah, it's really interesting stuff if you like really dark, gloomy, kind of sludgy stuff. At least that's what it felt like to me. All right, then we get Short Cross with the album Arising. Um, really cool. Let's see, they got a nice vinyl, really pretty vinyl. One of my favorites. I like the splatter with the different colors. It's a 1972 album, pretty much hard rock, heavy blues, just a very powerful sound, kind of Zeppelin-ish, Sabbath, Grand Funk, that same little style. Really cool album, one worth checking out. All right, another album I really like, and it's The Power of Zeus. Move them right there. This sadly you can't. I haven't been able to find this one where you can stream it. Uh, but maybe you probably stream it on YouTube, but you can't do it on Apple. I know that for sure. But The Power of a Zoo, it's Uncertain Destination is the name of the album. Came out in 1970. It's a Detroit psych band. Apparently they're legends in Detroit. I don't know, but it's very raw, very ferocious, very tough. There's a bunch of previously unheard tapes that they discovered. So this wasn't an actual album uh, that was ever released. They've just compiled a bunch of things from tapes and stuff. So it's all previously unreleased material for the band Power of Zeus. They do some great covers. There's Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, the Beatles back in the USSR, some great little covers. It's just a fun little rock album. I've enjoyed that one a lot. All right. Then we get something completely different. He released a single. It's for this band called Blast. Songs are Hope and what is it? Damned Flame. There's the guys in the back. And then here's the single. It's on yellow vinyl. Yellow's a lot of them have been yellow. Um, but yeah, very different. Their band's out of Belgium. It's kind of a proto-punk from 1973. It's very different. It's not bad. It's just very different, and I haven't got used to that one. But it's a single, so I'm not going to play it that much. I don't play singles too often. I collect a bunch, but I don't play them. All right, then we have Horse. I love the purple cover, the old style on the back for that. That green in the name of Horse. Get the green vinyl, which I always like when they match the colors off that. It's more psychedelic hard rock, but there's an occult undertones to everything. They're based out of London. It's a 1970 album. It was their only one. Very Sabbathy. Andromeda, which we've done earlier. Very dark material. Uh, but still, it's interesting, and I've enjoyed that one too. Just I can't try to figure out how to describe it any more than that, but I really can't. But it's very dark with the themes and everything. All right. Then we have Oda. The album's simply called Oda, but they've called it the Black Album before. Not an original name, but it's on white vinyl. It's as it's described it, it's a swaggering riff fury of West Coast blasters. They were teenagers at the beginning of the 70s. They were influenced by the UK rockers like Deep Purple and Zeppelin and Free and Who. They gigged all over the Bay Area with Randy's playing compared to Jeff Beck on his six string. So a lot of guitar heavy stuff. This one's really cool. I've listened to it a lot. It's worth checking out if you stream it first. And if you want to buy any of these, some of these he actually has on the website. But most times for stuff that's already sold out, you'll have to go to Discogs or eBay and try to find them if you want to buy them. But yeah, I'll put a link to his store and you can get some of these things if you would like. All right, the next one we have another Garrison release. I love my Garrison releases. This is Homer, grown in the US, grown in USA. So there. And I love how they do the obi strips on those things. And then here is a reddish orangish color for the vinyl. Um, their roots are traced back to their two legendary 60s garage bands, the Outcast and the Stoics. They're just a psychedelic hard rock outfit out of Texas. It's their only album. It was on a private pressing back in 1970. There's a little bit of prog in there, but it's like killer lead guitars, dual guitars, melodic vocals, and there's an occasional mellotron in there as well, just to add a little bit more to it. So another really cool album. But I like this next one really. I think this next one's really cool too. Doc Rocket. I love the glossy finish, kind of like double platinum Kiss. Um, and then it's a yellowy color vinyl. But yeah, this Doc Rocket one just super, super cool. It's a 1979 debut album from the band. They're out of Spokane. It's a trio. It's very proggy, but hard rock, proto metal. Think Budgie, think Rush, think Captain Beyond, Hawkwind, those kind of bands. And that's the kind of sound you're going to get from them. It's just some, I don't know. I just really love that one. It's a really cool, cool rock album. Um, all right. And as a lot of these have been psychedelic albums, and so here we have one. It's called Wizard. Uh, Very simple, simple cover. Nothing real fancy about it. Uh, I think we've seen one with that kind of colors before. Wizards, the album is from 1971. Um, Psychedelic hard rock band out of Florida. It's another power trio. They opened for bands like Iron Butterfly and Mountain. Just kind of think Steppenwolf and Hendrix, and you're gonna get an idea of what their sounds like. Another really killer album. I mean, like psychedelic was something I never listened to. Now I got a whole ton of them, and I've enjoyed kind of adventuring into that realm of music. All right, then we get to another one of Dylan's most popular releases. I think he made 1,000 or had 1,000 of these done. And this is the band Fraction with the album Moonblood. And look at the glossiness of that. Uh, so when you pull it out, you see there, that's the moon. Really, really cool. It took them a long time to get this one done and get it done right because they wanted to stick to how the original was, and it had that film on the front and then a pretty red vinyl to go with it. I have reviewed this album and it might be my absolute favorite of all of the Noble exclusives. It's the band Fraction. That album was recorded in 3 hours. All the songs were done in one take, no overdubs. You think that would be a bad thing, but it's so, so not. They had no budget to do this. It's just stellar, incredible. Jim Beach on vocals. Holy shit, that man can sing. He hits some notes, and his screams are just friggin' awesome. There is only 5 songs on it, but it's just killer from the beginning to the end. There is no filler on that. It is acid rock. It is wah wah guitars all over the place. This thing just blew me away. The funny thing is, the first time I heard it, I was just like, it's all right. And I spent more time with it, and every listen, it just got better and better and better. So yeah, just friggin' fantastic. Worth that one, worth getting. And it's this one's a little more expensive because it's the fancier cover and everything. He had them up not too long ago, so I'd go grab one. Otherwise, you'll have to go on Discogs and you'll pay a premium for it. All right, the next one. This one is Tennessee River Crooks. I've reviewed this one up on the site as well. This one is Riding Easy Records. I love the baby blue vinyl on that. This again, it's another awesome one. This is pure Southern rock, which is probably why I like it because I grew up on some Southern rock. Um, it was mostly recorded with rhythm tracks that were live, so they could kind of get that whole live vibe to it. It was recorded at the Sound Farm in Tennessee between June and October of 1976. But again, just solid Southern rock, and it'll just kick your ass. Phenomenal, phenomenal album. All right. Now, this exclusive was a band I had actually heard of, and it is called Mammoth. I had always heard about this one, but never had heard it before. Uh, and this comes on a really pretty purple vinyl. Uh, but again, it's another Southern rock band, but this one's from 1981 out of DeLand, Florida. If you like Leonard Skinner and if you like Southern rock, Mammoth is going to be right up your alley. It's just unbelievable Southern rock. It's another one from beginning to end, just kicks my ass, and I just love it. Yeah, there's just nothing more to say on that one. It's awesome, awesome. You go read the review if you want to get song by song commentary on it. All right, the next one we have is Keith Noble, and there's no relation to Noble Records. This is Mr. Compromise. This is a Garrison release. No Obi on it this time, but a really pretty silver splatter. Um, Keith Noble is a founding member of the pre-Pink Floyd band Sigma Six, the Abdaba, something like that. It's a mixture of 60s styled pop songs, some haunting psychedelic folk music. It's kind of like the Hollies, Ray Davies, the Byrds, kind of bands like that. I would, if you had to stick them in a realm, I would put them in that little group. Uh, that is one I just haven't spent any time with. And I need to because I like the Hollies, I like the Byrds. Ray Davies is awesome. So I'll have to check that out someday. All right, the next one. It might be the worst album cover ever on any of these that we've got, or the coolest, depending on your view. This is Copperfield with Tales Untold. It looks like, what is that? He-Man fighting something is what it looks like. Uh, really just kind of horrible. But hey, then we have this like gold and black and yellow cool splatter vinyl. Copperfield is a progressive hard rock band out of Michigan from 1974. It's just got loud screaming guitars. It's got heavy organ, kind of Uriah Heep, Grand Funk, early, maybe even early, yes, but that's might be pushing it. I don't know. Just really interesting stuff, despite the cover. Even though the cover is still, it's so bad, you kind of want it anyway, you know? You got to have a bad cover in your collection. All right. Then we have The Storm with The Storm. Uh, this has got an Obi strip type thing on the end as well, but it's not from Garrison. We got a beautiful yellow, greenish, black, blue splatter, all sorts of different colors. And The Storm is from Spain. They're from Seville, Spain, touted as one of the best rock bands out of Spain. I don't know. I don't know any rock bands out of Spain. Released in 1974. It's just high energy hard rock with heavy organs in the same vein as like Deep Purple, Atomic Rooster, that kind of band. It's also got a classic prog sound to it in its roots and stuff. So really interesting, interesting album. Check it out. It's far. It's got a cool cover. Since we're talking about covers, another one with a cool cover, and another one I really, really dig. And this is McPhee, self-titled album. There are the people on the back with got a female lead singer. Um, green, black splatter. This band, we're going to go down to Sydney, Australia, and down under. Released in 1971, but kind of been forgotten and lost in time. At least that's what it says. It's a bunch of covers. Two songs out of the seven on the album are original. Female vocalist, and she's amazing. Think Grace Slick from Jefferson Airplane. That's her style. And then that, I mean, so therefore, I mean, I was just, you had me at that. Just rock, acid rock, psychedelia, prog, and then just pure rock at the same time. They do some Spooky Tooth covers, Beatles, Neil Young. What's really cool about this album, other than the vocals, is the organ work by Jim Deverell. Freaking fantastic. He's amazing. just went to town and jammed on some of these things, mixed in the guitar and stuff. It's just that's just another awesome album from beginning to end. So check that one out. All right, the last one I have at the moment, as far as Noble Records exclusives go, is Joe Pritchard and Gibraltar. And there's a lot of writing on the album. Very pretty baby blue album here. Um, there's not a lot known about them. They hailed from Missouri. They drew their inspirations just from all over the place. Uh, Guitar wise, I think the guy's been compared to Jimmy Page. There's some saxophone on here, a little bit of dual guitar, kind of like a little bit of ZZ Top sound. There's just jam sessions. This is brand pretty new, and I haven't really had time to sit with it. So yeah, that's one that I just haven't been able to get to yet. And so I should say that's not quite the last one yet. And I can't find, here it is. I have one that I haven't even opened yet that just came out. This is Raven Back to the Ohio Blues. Not even open, so I don't even know what the color is. Um, it's from 1975. It's a bluesy hard rock. Um, Man, yeah, classic mid 70s stoner kind of rock as well. Just I'm really now excited to hear that one. I like stoner rock too, so really can't complain about that. So I'll put that back over there. But Raven is the new one. I think it just came out within the last week or so. I was out of town, so I had to have it shipped. I didn't get to actually go in the store to get that one. So I don't have any, don't even know what that one sounds like. But if it's stoner rock and just a little bit of heaviness to it, yeah, I'm all in for that one. All right. So that's actually now all the exclusive that he's put out. But he's also has his own record label called Noble Records. Imagine that. And then the first album he put out was for a local band here in Monroe, North Carolina. They're about 20 minutes from where I live, and not and probably 20 minutes from his shop and stuff. So he discovered that, not discovered, but he found this one, Underground Fire. This thing is so freaking hard to get. If you want one of the originals, it's going to run you well over $1,000. The original album came out in 1972. There were only 1,500 copies. It's a pure 70s garage rock kind of band. There's some psychedelic hints and stuff. But according to the members of the band, there was no LSD. Maybe some weed influenced them, but they weren't really into the trippy stuff. These guys were teenagers too when they made this album, and you can tell in the lyric, the songwriting and stuff. It's a little simple. They really weren't the greatest songwriters, but vocally it's awesome. They do write a lot of songs about love because they're teenagers, so their hormones are running wild. And then I bought the Pinwheel, which I love that. And what he did on this one, there was a black vinyl because this is his label, so he has many different kinds. There was a black vinyl, and then there was that. There were some splatter ones that were really nice. I went with the one that was the most limited with the Pinwheel. But something he also did is before the album comes out, he gets test pressings. He gets like 50 of them. So he decided to sell off. He gave away some and sold off others. I bought one, and this was so I got this way before the album actually came out. So this is the test pressing. I love. He actually spent the time, had someone design a cover, put the little promo kind of timestamp on here. Nothing on the back. It's real simple. But I thought it was cool. So I said earlier I don't collect different variants, but I do like the test pressings because the cover is going to be different, and I like the style what he did. And again, I want to support Dylan and Noble Records. Now, the second one he did has released so far. It's called Dry Water, and this is the album Southpaw. Um, and it is on white. I went with a white vinyl on this one because that was the one that was most limited, I believe, at the time. It's actually another North Carolina band. They were out of Charlotte. Um, Originally came out in 1974. And as far as music goes, it is straight up 70s rock and roll with some great guitar, powerful bass, banging keys, slamming drum, all that good stuff. You, you can hear what I think I like about it. You can hear all the instruments really, really well. And these guys are seasoned musicians. Now, I do have the test pressings here. I have two different ones because the story, it took so long for this one to be done. They couldn't find the master tapes. So what they did is they did a needle drop to record. So they found a very clean vinyl, original vinyl, and they did a needle drop and recorded it off of that. So I have the test pressing for that one. And Dylan was kind enough to let me have this one. He gave me this one because he knew I was, he knows I collect all his exclusives. So that was really nice of him for that. I've reviewed this album. It is another stellar release. I like it better than even Underground Fire. Um, it's my favorite one that he's put out so far. But then they found the master tapes. So they went back and scrapped what they were going to do, and they did another a test pressing with the master tapes after they had the album remastered and stuff. So it's just on black vinyl. But this one is the extended version because with the needle drop, it was the original album. But when they found the masters, they found a couple extra songs that hadn't been out before. So they had an extended mix on one and then a bonus track. So you get some different songs that weren't on the original. So that's why I have this one too, because I bought it just to have the test pressing for that one. All right. We've got now his third release so far. It's called it's by George Brigman, and it's called Jungle Rot, which is an interesting name. Normally, I go for the one that's the most limited pressing, but man, I could not pass up that vinyl. That is just too cool. I had to have that one instead of the limited pressing one because that's freaking awesome. The original album came out in 1975. He was only 18 years old when he did this. Massively influenced by Tony McPhee of the Groundhogs, Captain Beefheart, Johnny Winter. It's a bizarre, as they describe this, they describe it as a bizarre, raw, brutal, acid fueled fuzz guitar ripper. Bizarre is an understatement. It's different. It hasn't sunk in with me yet. I'm not signing it, not writing it off yet, but it hasn't quite got there. And so here's my test pressing for Jungle Rot on the black vinyl. Um, so yeah, I had this album because this album just came out not too long, like a month or so ago. But I had the test pressing 6 months ago, 5 months ago, who knows? Somewhere maybe before Christmas. All right, and then I also have a test pressing for an album that's about to come out. It's been pressed. So the vinyl's ready. It's being packaged. We'll probably be able to buy it in a couple weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. But this one is an interesting one. It's called Yezra Urfa. Boris is the name of it. So here's the timing strip on the back. There's nothing there. It's just on the black vinyl with nothing on the label. This one, wow. It's pretty wild and they say it's wild and utterly brilliant. I don't know about the utterly brilliant yet. I haven't been able to wrap my head around it. It's very, very different. It's they're a very obscure progressive band, kind of gentle giantish, they say, but it's got Griffin's medieval flair, and it just sounds like nobody else. There's a lot of humor in it too, from what I understand. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that too. Yeah, it's just a bizarre one. So I mean, I'll still buy it when it comes out because I'm gonna keep supporting him. Not sure what I really think about it. I'll listen to it again once it comes out officially. But it's some different shit. Let me tell you. So okay, and that's all of them. And I know he's got that one coming out soon. He's already mentioned he's signed a couple more artists, some hard rock bands. Really interesting in that. I'm sure we'll have more exclusives coming within the next couple weeks, probably. and I'll have to buy more. But I really wanted to go through, since I had about 50, I just figured right now it's time. Let's go through them all and stuff. So I had to break it up into two because I get real tired speaking. I don't usually talk this much. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the Noble Records exclusive walkthrough and the Noble Record label walkthrough. Go check out part one if you haven't. Go to tooloudtoolmusic.com, read some of the reviews that I've done on some of these albums. I'll do more as time goes by. It's just a lot of fun experimenting and listening to stuff outside of my normal comfort zone. So again, thanks again. Hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment, all that good stuff. And we really would appreciate it. It helps the site out a lot. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time on the collection.